Welcome to Through the Bible. Today we will begin on a new journey through the second book of the Bible, Exodus. And our story is titled Baby Moses from Exodus chapters 1 and 2. It is a story about an Israelite baby who becomes an Egyptian prince. When Jacob brought his family to Egypt, there were only 70 of them altogether, including Joseph and his sons. But by the time Joseph and his generation had passed away, the children of Israel filled the land of Goshen, and they were to be found in all the cities of Egypt. They were a rich people and powerful. But a time came when Pharaoh, a new king, ruled in the land, who knew nothing about the great Joseph and the wonderful work he had done for the people of Egypt. Because of the numbers and the riches of the Israelites, the Egyptians became jealous. The king began to think, too, that they might perhaps one day side with his enemies against him. He therefore began to treat them roughly and to make slaves of them. They appointed brutal slave drivers over them, hoping to wear them down with crushing labor. They forced them to build the cities of Pithom and Ramesses as supply centers for the king. But the more the Egyptians oppressed them, the more the Israelites multiplied and spread, and the more alarmed the Egyptians became. So the Egyptians worked the people of Israel without mercy. They made their lives bitter, forcing them to mix mortar and make bricks and do all the work in the fields. They were ruthless in all their demands. Then Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, gave this order to the Hebrew midwives, Shiphrah and Puah. When you help the Hebrew women as they give birth, watch as they deliver. If the baby is a boy, kill him. If it is a girl, let her live. But because the midwives feared God, they refused to obey the king's orders. They allowed the boys to live too. So the king of Egypt called for the midwives. "Why have you done this?" he demanded. "Why have you allowed the boys to live?" "The Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women," the midwives replied. "They are more vigorous and have their babies so quickly that we cannot get there in time." So God was good to the midwives, and the Israelites continued to multiply, growing more and more powerful. And because the midwives feared God, He gave them families of their own. Still it seemed that the Israelites became more and more, so the Egyptians decided on a really terrible thing. They wanted all the Israelite boy babies to be killed as soon as they were born. Pharaoh's next plan was to have all the little Israelite sons thrown into the river and only the little girls kept alive. One day, a little baby was born, and his mother did very best to see he was not killed by the cruel Egyptians. For 3 whole months she hid him. Then she made an ark or basket of bulrushes like a little boat, and she coated it with pitch inside so that the water could not get in. Inside she laid her little baby. and she set the basket in the river between the coarse water grasses near the bank. The baby's sister, Miriam, watched to see what would happen. After a while, one of Pharaoh's daughters, a princess of Egypt, came down to wash in the river, and she saw the ark. She sent her maid to fetch it. When she opened it, a little baby cried. She knew that it was an Israelite baby, but she was a kind person. Instead of having him killed, she sent the little girl who was watching to find an Israelite woman to look after him. She did not know that the little girl, Miriam, was really the baby's sister. Miriam went and fetched the baby's own mother. When he was older, the princess took him to the royal palace and treated him like her own son. She called him Moses, which means drawn out, because she had taken him out of the river. So a little Israelite baby became an Egyptian prince.